Alright, what's up? My name is Leonidas from PPCBasic.com, and in this tutorial we're going to create a fast and secure WordPress website, and I'm going to take you from beginner to the advanced stages of a potential WordPress developer. Now in this tutorial we're going to do the back end of the WordPress website as our first step. Alright, and the reason that we want to focus on performance and security is that visitors have a very short attention span when they go to your website. If your website takes more than 3 seconds, then you have a massive drop off of how many customers or leads are potentially interested in your content, in your website, in what you're selling. So once again, people have a very short attention span and they will not stay on your website forever, especially if it takes a very long time to load. Next up, Google ranks your website in the search queries much higher if your website performs better. This is a known fact. Google has released this information a long time ago. So the faster your website, the higher your ranking in the Google algorithm. Next, various marketers have asked me to look at their web pages. And a lot of the times, the first thing that I notice is that content is loading very slowly. So once again, the slower it loads, the less likely you're able to retain your visitors. Next up, we have bot spamming. And this has been an issue that I've been facing for the last 10 years or so of maintaining my own various WordPress websites. I would host a website, then I would launch a contact form of some sort or some kind of lead generation. And next thing I know, I get a bunch of bots signing up to my website, as well as various hacking agencies around the world launching brute force attacks on my site. So this is something that you really need on your website in order to protect your site from ever being hacked or essentially being flooded with fake accounts, fake emails, and all that other fun stuff. And finally, one thing I noticed with a lot of beginner to advanced WordPress tutorials is that they do not cover the essential backend of the WordPress site, such as security and performance. So this is what this video series is going to focus on. Now, if this might seem a little bit overwhelming, that's fine. I recommend you watch this video before actually implementing anything. This is the process that we're going to go through as quickly and as efficiently as possible. We covered the intro and the theory of why we want to make a website that is focused on performance and security. Next up, we're going to launch a Cloudways server. So this is where my web servers have been hosted for the last 3 years. And it's probably my most favorite server system as far as launching websites. And I'll show you why. Then we're going to do the very basics of registering a domain. We're going to connect that domain to Cloudflare, which is a tool that allows you to enhance the security and performance of your website. We're going to connect Cloudflare to our server. Okay. And then after that, we will do a basic Google page speed test to assess the speed of our very basic website. Then after that, we'll add an SSL certificate. This is to encrypt your site to make sure that anything that visitors type into your site is secure. Then we're going to add WordFence security. This ensures that our website is secure from any attacks onto it. Then we're going to add the Google Recaptcha, which I'm sure you've seen many times, where you select that I am not a robot, and then it shows you a bunch of pictures that you have to select. And then we're going to upgrade our Cloudways server. And this is a very easy backend process that involves just a few clicks. Then after that, we're going to add ElasticSearch. So this allows you to catalog the accounts on your website much faster than you would otherwise. So this is an important feature that I'll show you, which you'll need once you start getting 500 or 1,000 accounts to your website. After that, we're going to implement the CloudFlare performance boost features available with Cloudflare that we connected. Then we're going to then we're going to add JetPack. And after that, we're going to add the Autoptimize caching. And then finally, we're going to do another level of caching, which involves the Redis database caching. And then we have a few bonus things here, and we'll do another page speed test to assess the speed of our website after implementing all of this. And then finally, a review. Now, once again, I understand this might be a little bit overwhelming, but take it step by step and follow the tutorial once you decide to implement it. And I assure you that you're going to increase your website speed and security way beyond than someone who does not know this. So why do we want WordPress security in place? The metaphor is that it's the bouncer in the club. As your website becomes more popular, you'll start to get a lot of traffic coming in from countries such as China or Russia or various other bots that try to hack into your website. So we want to protect ourselves from that. Next up, what is a content distribution network? This is something we will implement with JetPack. As a metaphor, it simply involves holding a copy of your book everywhere instead of shipping it internationally. So instead of just having it somewhere in the US or somewhere in Asia, you'll essentially have a copy of it in multiple continents and in multiple countries so that users can open it as quickly as possible. And finally, what is caching? So the metaphor is keeping a copy of the book at the front of the library instead of always having to go to the back of the library to retrieve the information in the book. So from this little diagram, you can see that the visitor visits the website and the website accesses the server, and then the server brings back the data, and then the website sends that information to the visitor as well as to the cache. So instead of having to go back every single time and using up valuable resources to access the server, instead the website saves this information in like a little memory, and then it keeps bringing it back for increased speed and performance. All right, so first thing we need to do is we need to go to ppcbasic.com/Cloudways. As well, you can also go on cloudways.com. If you go through my link, there will be a discount for signing up for a plan. We're going to go ahead and get started for free. So go ahead and fill in the information: first name, last name, email, password. What would you describe yourself? You can select any one of these. You can go ahead and select blogger if you'd like. The value here is completely irrelevant, and then hit agree, start for free. Once you're inside, you'll see the verify account. So make sure to go to your email address and verify the account link there. At the same time, you will not be charged during the trial period. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into my actual account and create a server from there because I'm already paying from my actual account. All right, so when you begin, you can actually select what kind of website you'd like to make. So select applications, and then here you can select WordPress version 5.3, or you can even go ahead and select a WordPress with WooCommerce version if you decide to go into e-commerce. But for this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and create a WordPress 5.3 instance. Potentially by the time you see this tutorial, this might be 5.4, 5.5, or even 6.0, but keep in mind the process will always be the same. Name your managed app. Our fast, secure site will be the name, and then our fast, secure server will be the name of the server. So next up, we'll select the server type we want to use. The two options that I would recommend are either DigitalOcean or the Google Cloud Platform. They both allow you to select how much RAM and CPU you have on your server. So the more you select, the greater the cost, but obviously the greater the performance. We'll go into Google here. Once again, the greater the cost, the greater the performance. And you can actually increase the speed of them as you're running the server. So let's say, for example, you start to generate a lot of money with your server, you get more visitors, you obviously want to increase the performance of your website. So you would go ahead and increase the speed. But the main difference between the Google and the DigitalOcean server is that, let's say your website does not get as many visitors as you had hoped, you can actually go in and downscale the server. With the DigitalOcean's instance, you will only be able to upscale, but you will not be able to downscale. So in order to downscale, you'll have to make a new server and transfer everything from that server to a new DigitalOcean's server. So this is a little bit of a nuance, but just so you know for the future. So just for this tutorial, we'll go ahead and select a DigitalOcean's server, and we're going to do a 2 GB server to start. So next up, we're going to select the location, and the location is relevant to where the majority of your visitors will be, but it's not as important because ultimately we will scale our server to be as global as possible. So in this case, I'll simply select somewhere such as New York and launch now. Now here you will see that Cloudways has started to create your server and website. This will take about 7 minutes. So while this is taking effect, we're going to go ahead and register our domain name. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go to ppcbasic.com/namecheap, or you can go to namecheap.com. And here is where I have registered all of my domains for the last 10 or so years. This is where I always buy my domains. And you can go ahead and type in the name of your website that people will type into the address bar. So in this case, we will do something simple like my secure website. and we'll do a search. And here you can see the various website addresses. A .com is not available. What I do really recommend is you stick to a .com address. This builds more trust for your website. So we can try this again. My fast secure website, or we can do PPCBasic site.com. All right, so the website address ppcbasicsite.com is available. I'm going to go ahead and add it to our cart, and I'm going to view cart. If the business idea that you create on this website address lasts longer than 1 year, then you can obviously renew. And this little feature, WhoisGuard, will actually hide your name and address from being visible to people who decide to look at who owns your website. So unlike hosting providers such as HostGator or other domain registry websites, in this case, it's 100% for free. On HostGator, I believe it's $14 or $15 a year. Not a big deal, but nonetheless, in this case, it's 100% for free. And we're going to go ahead and hit confirm order. And in this case, I'm going to do a PayPal checkout. All right, so once the purchase is complete, you'll get this record of your purchase. And we're going to go ahead and go down here under purchase summary, and we'll select manage. And here you'll see your domain list. So on the left side is all the domains that I have registered with Namecheap. You can see there's quite a lot. I'm going to scroll down, and then ppcbasicsite.com. I'm going to select manage. And then I'm going to continue down to here where it says name servers. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to add a custom DNS from our next website. And we're going to go ahead and go to cloudflare.com. So cloudflare.com is a great way to add additional security, performance, and reliability to your website. And it's 100% for free, unless obviously you decide to upgrade your service. For most of my websites, I use the 100% free service because it's just an amazing way to increase the performance and security of my site. So simply hit sign up. You'll end up on this kind of screen right here, and it's going to ask you to input the name of your website. So we're going to input the name that we just registered, which will be ppcbasicsite.com. And in this case, we're going to select the free plan, confirm plan. And it's going to do a little scan for us here. So in this case, we want to delete all of these, except for these two. And these two records, the A record, A type record, and the C name record, point to our website. So in order to get this information, we have to go back to our Cloudways server. And we can see that our server is now ready. So we're going to go ahead and click on our server. And we're going to copy this IP address. So we're going to simply select click to copy. Now it's copied. We're going to go back here and paste that in. And we're going to go back to our server. And at the top right here, we'll simply select our website that's on our server. And here is our website backend information. We're going to go into domain management, and we're going to copy this address, this right here, right before the period. We're going to right click, copy. Going to go back to our Cloudways platform, and we're going to select all of that and paste. Okay. And we're going to one more time go back to our Cloudways server, and we're going to enter the domain that we bought just now. So it'll be ppcbasicsite.com. Hit save changes. Go back to our Cloudflare, hit continue. And then here is where we get the name servers that we need for Namecheap. So this is another very simple step. We're going to select this. We're going to right click, copy. We're going to go over to Namecheap, and under name servers, once again, make sure you select custom DNS. We're going to paste the first one. We're going to go back, select this, copy that, paste that into here, and hit save. All right, so now it says the DNS server update may take up to 48 hours to take effect. This actually is much faster than that. Nowadays, it takes about maximum 30 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes, sometimes even 5. It's a very, very fast process of Namecheap linking your website address into Cloudflare. And then once it has been connected, it'll tell you that it's been connected. So we're going to come back in about 5 to 10 minutes, and hopefully by then our website has been connected to Cloudflare, and then Cloudflare has connected already to our Cloudways server. All right, so after a couple of minutes, which actually only took about literally 2 minutes to connect, we'll go ahead and go into overview. Great news, Cloudflare is now protecting your site. So if we go to our website, we can see that our website is fully connected and good to go for editing. So first thing we'll do is we're going to go ahead and do a quick page speed test to get the initial metrics of how fast our website is right now. And keep in mind that this is the very, very bare minimum website. Obviously, once you start building out your WordPress site, you'll have more plugins, more themes, and other features added to your site. But we're going to see what the bare bones minimum performance is for our website. So we're going to go ahead and go to the Google page speed test. So there's two ways to get to this page. You can either go to ppcbasic.com/speed test, or you can go into Google and type in Google page speed test, and then you'll get to this website. So we're going to do a quick analysis of our site, site.com, analyze. So you can see that our mobile score is 100%, as well as our desktop score is 100%. But if we go to the mobile tab, there's a bunch of opportunities that we'll need to implement in order to optimize the performance of our site as we start building it. So at the moment, because there's no actual fully built out site on the WordPress that we bought, there's not much to optimize, but into the future, you'll be able to see the optimizations already taking effect because we essentially built out the backend to focus on performance and security. So back on our website, it looks completely basic, but what we need to do is we need to implement a few plugins in order to optimize the security and the performance even further. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is we need to implement an SSL certificate. So to do that, go to your Cloudways server backend. And here we are once more. We're on the website level. Here's our server, here's our website, and we're going to go into SSL certificate. And we're going to go ahead and create an SSL certificate in order to encrypt anything that people type into our website. So the email address is whatever email address that you want, and the domain name is the domain name of our website. Install certificate. Once it finishes, you'll get a message that says, would you like to enable HTTPS redirection? And in this case, we want to select not now because this will actually mess up our website with irrelevant security redirections. And we'll select close. And now what we need to do is we need to log into our WordPress backend. So we'll go into access details on the left side. And here is our WordPress backend login site. And here is our username and our password. So we're going to go ahead and open this, and we're going to go ahead and log in with our login information. Select remember me and log in. All right, so now that we're logged in, we need to install our SSL certificate plugin. Even though we have an SSL certificate already installed, we still need a plugin to make sure that it's active all over the website. So we're going to go into, on the left side here, plugins, add new. And we'll type in SSL. So most tutorials on YouTube like to install the really simple SSL certificate. Now this is a good SSL certificate, but some features on here are actually premium features. And the WP Force SSL plugin has a feature that is actually paid on this plugin, but it's 100% for free on this one. So we're going to go ahead and select install now for the WP Force SSL. And we're going to activate. And you can see it's already selected Force SSL. And the paid feature that's only available in really simple SSL is actually free here for the HSTS. We're going to select on, and we're going to select save changes. And now we're good to go. So our website has been officially secured and certified with an SSL certificate. Next, what we want to do is we want to install WordFence. So we're going to go into plugins, add new, type in WordFence. Install now, activate. And in this dashboard, you can enter your email address and they will send you any notifications if there's any security threats on your website, or if there's anyone trying to log in without permission using your administrative username and password. I personally don't like to put my actual information into here because then it ends up spamming me with all of these different notifications, because I have a lot of users that come to my website and sometimes they don't know their password. I receive a lot of notifications with these failed logins. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a fake email address. And I do not want to join the community. Continue. And do I want to upgrade to a premium license? No, thanks. And then once it's ready, on the left side here, we'll go into dashboard. We'll close this. At the top here, we'll select, do I want to stay updated automatically? Select yes, enable auto update. And then after that, to make sure your site is secure, take a moment to optimize the WordFence web application firewall. So click here to configure. So here, what you have to do is you have to download the htaccess file. This is just a backup of your server configurations. I typically just delete it right after I download it and then hit continue. And then we're good to go. So our website is now secure against most robot activity. And next up, what we need to do is we need to install Recaptcha. So we'll go into plugins, hit add new, and we'll type in CAPTCHA. And the CAPTCHA plugin that I like to install is the Advanced No CAPTCHA and Invisible CAPTCHA. So we're going to go ahead and select install. And you can see down here, what it will do is it'll add a I'm not a robot little checkbox, which I'm sure you've seen in the past. And once it's installed, we'll go into settings. And here, what we need to do is we need to get a site key. So in order to get a site key, we have to go to the Google CAPTCHA administrative interface. So to do that, we can simply select here Google. And if you're currently not aware what Recaptcha is, here you go, Recaptcha, very simple. You can read through the process, but it's basically google.com/Recaptcha. So in this case, we're going to register a new website. And for the label, we'll simply label it as our secure websites, because here you'll be able to add multiple websites for security purposes. So we'll have a Recaptcha version 3. This is the one that we want. It's the newest one. And then under domains, we'll do PPCBasic site.com. Very simple. I accept the Recaptcha terms of service. Send alerts to the owner. You can unselect that to limit the amount of spam you get from Google. Hit submit. And then we're going to copy these two keys. So we're going to select copy site key. We're going to paste the first one. We're going to select the second key. Paste that. And make sure you select the correct version. So in this case, it'll be version 3. And for the forms where we want the CAPTCHA to be displayed, it can be on our login, registration, lost password, reset password, the comment form, and that's pretty much it. I would not recommend it on the WooCommerce checkout because sometimes, let's say, someone does not pass the Recaptcha even though they're ready to pay. But otherwise, you can select it on these first 5 selections, and we'll go down, and that's pretty much it. Hit Save Changes. And now we have a Recaptcha on our website. And you can see now it's actively securing our website. So if someone goes and leaves a comment and Google might think that they're a bot, then in this case, it'll verify them before they're able to post anything on your site. All right. So next up, we want to do a couple server-side optimizations. We're going to go back into our Cloudways interface and we're going to go to our server level. So for the server, hit the little thing up there. Then we're going to go into settings and packages. And here for the execution limit, we're going to increase that to 360 seconds. We're going to increase the upload size to 100 megabytes. And the memory limit is the amount of memory of the server that you bought. So in this case, we bought 2 gigabytes. So in this case, I'm going to increase it all the way to 2000 megabytes, which is the equivalent of 2 gigabytes. And we're going to go ahead and save changes. Then we're going to go into packages. And we're going to go ahead and upgrade our server. So we're going to select here and we're going to select to PHP 7.2. I do not recommend PHP 7.3 just yet because it still has some issues with various plugins out there in the WordPress market. So stick with PHP 7.2, hit save. If at any point some of your plugins do not work, then you can go ahead and downgrade to PHP 7.1. But for the most part, PHP 7.2 has been around for a very long time, so it should be okay. This upgrade process will take about a minute or two, so just be patient and wait it out. Next, we're going to upgrade our database. So we're going to select here, and we're going to upgrade it to MariaDB 10.3. Maria Database 10.3 has some performance benefits over the previous versions, so this is a great way to increase your performance even further. Next up, we're going to enable ElasticSearch. And finally, what we want to do is we want to install Redis, which is a caching service provided to you free by Cloudways. All right, so once all of those things are upgraded and activated, we're going to go back to our WordPress website, and we're going to go into our plugins. We're going to add new. We're going to type in ElasticPress, install now, and activate. We're going to go into dashboard. And in this case, we're going to go and select God hosting. So just get started. And we're going to do third party / self-hosted. So simply type in HTTP 127.0.0.1. This IP address simply indicates that this service is already hosted on our server, which is what we activated previously. Hit save changes. And now we'll select index your content. So here you'll see the different features that you're able to index, including users, post searches, WooCommerce, related posts, and protected content. You can go ahead and select all of these. And every time it'll re-index. So the reason you want to enable ElasticPress is that it allows you to search within your database much faster than if you did not have ElasticPress. So my other website, you can see that there's about 1,147 users in my database. And as the database continues to grow and grow and grow, this can take a longer and longer amount of time for the database to find the users, to list them and everything else. So what ElasticPress allows you to do is it allows you to access this information much more quickly in the back end as well as in the front end than if you did not have ElasticPress. And once again, this is completely for free. You can use within Cloudways. So next up, we're going to add a few more performance boosts to our website. We're going to go back to Cloudflare. So here in Cloudflare, we'll go ahead and go to speed, and we're going to do some quick optimizations. So under optimizations, we're going to do auto minify. So we're going to select all three of these. Okay, and this just optimizes the code on your website. And we're going to continue going down. And then you can also test out Rocket Loader. Now this option, sometimes you should enable it or disable it depending on how much JavaScript you have on your site. If your site is actively making flashy things and somehow it ends up broken, then I would recommend disabling it. Or of course you can enable it if your website is very static. For most of my sites, I leave it as off because most of the time it just breaks the site itself. And then we're going to go back to the top and we're going to go under network. And here we have some bonus features that Cloudflare allows you to enhance the speed of your website even more. So in this case, just recently, they implemented HTTP 3, which is the next protocol for making website connections to the visitor even faster. So we're going to go ahead and select on. And this is another feature that allows the client to access the site even faster if they've previously been on there before. So we're going to select on. And finally, as a bonus feature, you can go ahead and go into traffic. So this feature right here, Argo, actually optimizes the way that the traffic ends up going to the visitor. So it finds the best way for the visitor to access your website. You can enable it, but it's a paid feature. I pretty much enable it on all of my sites, but in this case, I won't enable it because this is simply a tutorial website. But if you do enable it, it's going to increase how quickly your visitor gets to your site by up to 30%. And I actively use this on all of my websites that I run traffic to. So you can see it'll cost you $5 per website plus 10 cents for every gigabyte transferred to the visitor. All right, so once that's finished, we're going to go back to our website. We're going to go back to our admin dashboard. We're going to go into plugins. We're going to add a new plugin and we're going to type in Autoptimize. And this is a free but pretty good optimization plugin. So we're going to go ahead and select install now. And we're also going to install the Auto-Optimize cache. So we're going to install that as well. In order to activate them both at the same time, we simply right click and then we'll select open link in new tab, right click, open link in new tab. And we can do a simple refresh. And now the plugins have been installed. So if we look at the top, we can see that Auto-Optimize has been installed, but at the same time we have the built-in Breeze cache plugin. We want to remove that. So we'll go into installed plugins and we're going to deactivate Breeze and we're going to simply delete that. Okay, so next up we'll go into Auto-Optimize and we're going to start enabling things. So do not enable the JavaScript options. This will typically break your site. We'll select enable the CSS options. Everything's good to go here. Generate URI, optimize the HTML code. And at the bottom here, we want to disable the minify the excluded CSS and JavaScript files because we do not want to involve anything with JavaScript. So we'll select that, save changes, and empty cache. And then once again, under settings, so it looks like we're already there, we'll simply go into Auto-Optimize cache settings. And we're going to select the maximum cache file size. And we're going to set it to 1 GB. Hit save changes. Next, we want to install JetPack onto our website. So we'll go into plugins, add new. We'll type in JetPack. Install now, activate, set up JetPack. And then here you'll probably go through a new account creation process, but because I already have an account created, I'm going to go ahead and select approve in order to link my current accounts to this new WordPress website. And then once we're here, it's going to offer you to buy some stuff. We're just going to scroll down and then we're going to always select start with free. I have personally never paid for JetPack. And then we're going to go and select continue. This part is not important. We're actually going to go back to our WordPress dashboard. We're going to refresh. And on the left side here, we'll see JetPack. We're going to go into settings. And under security, we can actually select downtime monitoring. So if you want to notice if your website ever goes down for whatever reason, we want to receive an alert. So we'll scroll down and then brute force attack protection. I recommend this feature enabled if you do not have people actively logging into your website other than yourself, and your website is strictly for generating email leads or call leads or even a little bit of WooCommerce. But if you have people actively logging in, then I recommend disabling this because WordPress has a tendency to block people from logging in if the IP does not match, that they're logging in from somewhere else or whatever other criteria that they have. But the feature that I do recommend using is the WordPress login if you have a WordPress account. So we're going to go ahead and allow that and then match accounts using email addresses, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to go up and we're going to select performance, and then under performance and speed, we're going to select enable site accelerator. And what this is a content distribution network, and what JetPack will do is they'll end up hosting your images all over the world for people to access it much faster. And next up, we'll enable lazy loading of images. So what this means is that only the images that the visitor is currently viewing will load, and not the images that are much further down on the page. So those images will not load, and this will allow you to increase the speed of your website. And lastly, this is the advanced section that I'm going to show you, and we're going to go ahead and install the Redis caching. So we're going to go back into our plugins, add new, type in Redis, and we're going to install this Redis object cache. Hit install now, activate. So if you're planning to only run one single website on your server, then you can go ahead and select enable object cache. But if you're planning to run multiple websites on your server, which is an option with your Cloudways server because you now have the option to launch as many websites as you want, then we need to do a quick preliminary edit to our website code in order to use this particular plugin. So what we need to do is we need to go back to our Cloudways backend platform, and we're going to go into our server level, which is what we're currently at. We're going to go into master credentials, and we're going to need to log into our FTP. If this is your first time ever using FTP, then just make sure you watch this video just to get the idea of it. But what we need to do is we need to install an FTP client. So to do that, we'll go to FileZilla, To access this page, just type in ppcbasic.com/FileZilla. Then we'll select download FileZilla client. If you are using a Mac, you can also download it down here, Mac or Windows 32, which is an older version of Windows. But for now, we'll just select this, download FileZilla client, and then we'll select the free version, download here, close this. Once it loads, make sure you install the app and start FileZilla now. Okay, once we're logged in, we need to log into our server. So to do that, we're going to go back to our Cloudways interface, and we're going to copy this information here. So copy that, paste it into here, username, paste, password, and then for port number, we need to do port 22 and do a quick connect. Always trust this host, add this key to the cache, click yes. And we're going to go into applications. And you can see that the application that we have here, it has some random letters in it. And once you start having multiple websites, it's going to get quite confusing because they all have a bunch of random letters. So in order to change this, we need to go back to our Cloudways platform, and we're going to go to our website level at the top here. We're going to go into application settings, and we're going to rename the folder and hit save. All right, once it's saved, we're going to go back and we're going to right click, refresh. And you can see, so this folder is the exact same as this. They both end up pointing to the same location. So we're going to select that. We're going to go into public HTML, and we're going to right click on WP config, and we're going to view and edit. And we're going to scroll down to this section right here, and you're going to paste a specific line into here, which looks like this: define, open bracket, these little things here, which I'll obviously post beneath the video in order to clarify what this looks like. And then for in between these two things, you just need to type in something very random, which will essentially be the security password for the cache itself. So these are just random things. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and file, save, minimize, and it'll ask you file has changed, finish editing, and delete the local file, and then upload this file back to the server. Select yes. All right, so we're good to go. Now let's go ahead and go back to our WordPress dashboard, and then we're going to do a quick refresh. And you can see that the random text that we typed in has essentially been saved, and then enable object cache. So this particular cache has a security password, and this is the security password here. If you decide to have multiple websites on one server and you decide to use Redis for every single website to increase performance, then you'll need to create a key for every single one of them. Once again, if you only have one website on your server, then you do not need this key. But once you start adding more websites to your server, and all of these websites have Redis object cache installed, then you would need to have an individual key for every single site. This is to make sure that the server does not get confused which website you are pointing to that is cached. So once again, caching is a way to increase the performance by bringing the book from the back of the library to the front. And if you do not have these keys, then the server is not aware of which book to bring to the front. And in this case, it'll bring you to the wrong book if you do not have these keys installed, to put it as simply as possible. So next up, we need to make sure that if we make any changes to our website, that this cache is cleared for us, that the book is being refreshed, and we go back to the server and bring it a new one to the front. So in order to do that, we go to plugins, we'll hit add new, we'll type in nginx helper, we'll install this, activate, we'll go down, settings, and enable purge, and we'll select Redis cache, go down, and hit save all changes. So when we make any new changes to our website, the database cache that we created with the Redis is refreshed and we don't end up seeing old changes from our website. Instead, we see the latest updates to our website. Finally, we're going to go back to plugins and add new Easy Updates Manager. We're going to hit install now, activate, and configure. So as the name implies, this app focuses on automatically updating your website. If there's any new versions of plugins or themes that are available, it will automatically update them for you. So in this case, we just need to select everything. We'll scroll down and we need to disable core notification emails because we want to minimize the amount of emails that we receive from our website. So we're going to go back to our site now. And you can see pretty much nothing has changed, except now your website is much more secure and it's going to essentially perform much faster. So to assess that, we're going to go back to our Google Page Speed tool and we're going to reassess the speed of our website. So we're going to do analyze once more. And keeping in mind that we had a lot of these little issues down here, we're going to see if they've essentially gone away. So we can see that our score has gone down by 4 points, but at the benefit of being way more secure than it was before. And you can see that a lot of the opportunities that were here before have gone away. They are now officially optimized. And under desktop, looks like our server speed is totally fine. Keep in mind, once you start adding more and more plugins to your website, it'll start to slow down a little bit because there are plugins that use way more server power than others. So now your website is ready to have a theme installed, have traffic sent to it, have leads, have phone calls, e-commerce if you decide to go down that route, and your website is going to perform much faster than a website that does not have these features. So for some bonus content, here we have my Google Recaptcha admin dashboard. In the last 90 days across 5 of my websites, I had 9,300 requests that ended up going through and Recaptcha assessed that about 1,000 of them were bot traffic, so robot traffic, spam traffic, anything that's kind of malicious. And then on the high end, we had about 7,800 visitors that Google assessed was not bot related. 13% of those visitors, of the 9,300 visitors, were essentially bot traffic. Then in the dashboard of PPCBasic.com, this is a new site that I only recently launched. You can see that there was a bunch of malicious traffic coming in from United Kingdom, Ukraine, Armenia, and even Russia. You can see that Russia was blocked quite a few times. And you can see that there were over 83 login attempts using the admin as a username. And obviously these are not my username logins, but as you can see, nonetheless, someone is trying to log in with these admin credentials and potentially hack the site. And at the same time with JetPack, you can see that 1,724 malicious logins were blocked as well. Finally, we have the Cloudflare dashboard. And under Cloudflare, you can go into analytics and you can actually see under the security tab how much threats went to your website within the last month or so. So you can see the top threats were bad browsers, and bad browsers are typically associated with browsers that have malware on them or are just being launched by robot traffic altogether. You can see that malware traffic is coming from United States and China. So these are just 2 requests that happened in the last few days. And you can see how many bots are coming in from every single source of traffic. So Bing sends me a lot of bot traffic. Google sends me crawler traffic. The Apple sends crawler traffic, Yandex, and even Baidu, which is a Chinese browser. But generally, a lot of this traffic is being stopped through the 3 different layers, which we have with WordFence, Recaptcha, and even Cloudflare. So I hope you understand why you need to have added security on your website in order for you not to get hacked and not to get flooded with fake accounts and emails and everything else associated with being hacked on the internet. Now, as an added bonus, 3 more things I'm going to quickly show you is how to make a website, how to upscale your server, and how to downscale your server. So right now we only have 1 website on our server, but because this server is our own, we can add additional websites. So right now we only have 1 website. To add an additional website, you go down to this orange button and you select Add App. And once again, you select the application you want to add. So what kind of website? In this case, it would be a WordPress, but of course you can add other types of websites as well. And then you would name your app and then add application. So this is how you add a completely fresh, completely brand new WordPress site to your server. If you want to upscale your server, you simply go to vertical scaling. So here you're able to control how much performance you want in your server. So let's say you have more than 5 websites or more than 10 websites, then at that point I would recommend increasing the RAM on your server. And all you have to do is simply move this slider here up and down. Keep in mind with the DigitalOcean's servers, once you upscale, you cannot actively downscale. You would need to make a new server with a lower setting and then transfer all of the websites onto there. I can show you how to do that in another video. It's very simple, it takes only about 20 minutes to do altogether. And finally, let's say you want to delete your server and you're done with Cloudways, or you've transferred your websites to another server on Cloudways and you want to delete the existing server. To do that, you simply once again go to the bottom right here and you can select delete, and you would select what you want, what is the reason, but of course it doesn't really matter. And you would type in delete, and that's how you would delete this server if you no longer need it. Once it's deleted, you're no longer paying for anything with Cloudways, and you can come back at any time to relaunch the server as you need. All right, so that was a massive tutorial with a lot of advanced topics. Once again, we're going to do a quick overview. We created a Cloudways server, and then we launched an app, which is considered a website on Cloudways. Then we registered our domain, which is our website address name. And then we connected Cloudflare to our domain, or we connected our domain to Cloudflare, which is a great platform for enhancing security and performance. Some features are free, some features are paid. Then we connected our Cloudflare to our Cloudways server. So now we have this extra layer of performance and security attached to our server. Then we did a quick page speed test to assess the speed of our website loading and server on the very bare minimum settings. Then we added an SSL certificate to our website to make sure that everything people type into the website is encrypted. And then we added the WordFence security plugin to prevent unauthorized logins into our website and to block fraudulent traffic. Then we added the Google Recaptcha protection in order to prevent bots from signing up on our website. Then we did a quick upgrade to our server, such as upgrading the PHP, the database, as well as adding Elastic and Redis caching. Then we enabled ElasticSearch, which allows us to query or search through our database much faster than if we did not have it. Then we added a few performance boosts on our Cloudflare backend. So this included optimizing the code as well as optimizing the pathway for the visitor to reach our website. Then we added the JetPack content distribution network, which decreases the amount of time it takes to access our images on our server by distributing those images globally. Then we added the Autoptimize cache plugin, which allows our website to create a shortcut in accessing the information instead of having to go all the way to the server every single time. Then we added the Redis database caching, which allows the same performance boost, but for our database. And then after that, we added the automatic updates plugin to ensure that our website is constantly updated. Then I quickly showed you the benefits of adding security to our website. I covered the Recaptcha admin to show you how many bots are trying to access and create fake accounts on our website. I covered the WordFence security to show you how many times people are trying to log in to our website with our administrative passwords. And then I also showed you Cloudflare security, which shows us how much bot traffic is also trying to access our website. And then finally, we covered how to create a new website on our server, how to upgrade our server, and then how to also delete our server. So we also did this quick Google page speed test right after we implemented everything. And then finally the review, which is this. So Leonidas here from PPCBasic.com. If you have any questions at all, make sure you ask in this video in the comment section. I will gladly answer them. Also, make sure to go to PPCBasic.com and join the free private Facebook group where I'll be sharing tons of information in regards to lead generation, Google Ads, Facebook ads, and WordPress. And then make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'm going to ultimately release another video showing you how to transfer your WordPress website from your current hosting provider to the Cloudways hosting provider so you can start activating many of these different features as well for the added security and the added performance benefits. So if you have any questions, once again, leave them in the comments. Make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel, make sure to hit the notification bell because you're going to be notified for any future videos. And once again, Leonidas here from PPCBasic.com, and I will see you in the next video. Salute.